What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. So as many of you could probably guess or already know, Piccolo is my favorite character. I have made it pretty obvious. And lots of other people love him too. And that kind of posed a question. In Super he was kind of on the sidelines. He remained his same self, but once the Saiyans got their own god forms and such, they got so far ahead. And it's something that I was thinking of too. Imagine if there was a way to buff Piccolo. If he had some sort of god key form like the Saiyans do. Or even if he just trained with Beerus and WHIS. So that's what we're here to cover today. We'll be looking at what happens in Super if Piccolo were to train with WHIS. Figuring out ways to make him stronger. For this video, let's hit a like goal of 3,000 likes. If we hit that, I might make a second part to this. Anyways, let's begin. So obviously the big change here is that Piccolo is going to be training with WHIS. That means our story would start after Battle of Gods. The whole idea of God Key interests Piccolo, and he's curious to see if he can grow stronger too. Goku eventually finds out that Vegeta is on Beerus' planet, and he's about to leave, but Piccolo tags along with him this time. Beerus doesn't really see too much potential in Piccolo. The Saiyans show definite promise, but he's not too sure about a Namekian. Do they even have any forms to get stronger with? But Beerus ends up allowing it. He seems like a knowledgeable fighter, and having an extra person there may help Goku and Vegeta. Piccolo doesn't want to be there forever like they are. He wants to be available on Earth too, so after a few months or so, he wants to come back. And eventually he does get the opportunity for this. One day, Dende contacts Piccolo saying the Dragon Balls were just used, and he's not sure who could have used them or even found them. That definitely is concerning. I mean, it could just be someone making an innocent wish, but consider how hard it is to actually obtain the Dragon Balls. That seems unlikely, so, just in case, Piccolo wants to return to Earth. WHIS gladly takes him back. And Piccolo has seen some pretty impressive gains. Obviously with all these months of training, he would have picked up on God Ki by now. But besides just his base power increasing, he's also discovered something new that he's going to break out later on. A new form of power that luckily he doesn't have to use yet. But once he's back on Earth, he still wants to get back to training. He knows Gohan's been slacking off a bit, so why not train with him? Gohan's a little hesitant about training, but Piccolo says he'll help him come up with a nice balance. Gohan's pretty busy now, but if he finds that nice balance between life and fighting, he'll see some nice improvement. So once again Piccolo starts training with him, trying to whip him back into shape, and this way, Gohan actually maintains Ultimate. Not losing that, or Super Saiyan 2 for that matter. And this is helpful because eventually, Resurrection F rolls around. Although this time, everyone on Earth isn't really too panicked. Piccolo and Gohan both feel very confident. Frieza's army is really easy to take out. But then Frieza himself steps up. He's clearly gotten a lot stronger and they don't want to take any chances, so Piccolo steps up right away, ready to fight. While Piccolo would enjoy a nice fight once in a while, Earth is at stake so he wants to end this quickly. Immediately he shows off his new power. Similar to Goku before, Piccolo is surrounded by a fiery red aura. And there's some subtle changes. His eyes have also turned red. Something that people wouldn't notice unless he's looking right at them. Despite the minimal changes in appearance, there's been some huge changes in power. Multicolored hair isn't everything. Frieza chuckles, knowing that he beat this Namekian pretty easy before. Now that he's stronger, his first form should be more than enough to defeat Piccolo. Until Piccolo rushes him, attacking Frieza before he can even react, aiming to kill the Emperor right away. This leaves Frieza pretty badly injured. He's about to kill Frieza, but Frieza then launches a death beam towards the group. This distracts Piccolo and luckily Gohan is able to block it. But this distraction is great because it allows Frieza to transform, going right into his golden form. In Golden he definitely is powerful, and it is a bit concerning. But Piccolo's not too worried. He already did enough damage to Frieza, so maybe he'll still have a chance fighting him like he is now. And just for some extra reassurance, Gohan jumps in too to help. The two fight with perfect synergy. They've trained together for so long after all, so this is only natural. Not to mention they outnumber Frieza. Even if individually they may not overpower him, he's weakened right now and he's facing two people that fight perfectly together. It's definitely in their favor rather than Frieza's. Together, the two are able to defeat him, meaning Earth is saved and Goku and Vegeta didn't need to get involved. Clearly the benefits of Piccolo's training are starting to show. WHIS and Beerus are also watching from their planet, and they're impressed to see his growth. Even though he only had a few months of training, it was still more than enough. But of course this isn't the end of the story. Next up we have the Universe 6 tournament, and in terms of the roster it would likely be the same. Not like it really matters anyways because right away, Piccolo's going to be sweeping everything. Goku defeats Potamo but then gets poisoned by Frost. Piccolo's up against him next and they figure out that Frost is using poison. And instead of Vegeta jumping into fight, Piccolo stays in, finishing the battle. And he greatly overpowers Frost. Against Vegeta, Piccolo wouldn't have too hard of a time coming up with an insult for him. So, Vegeta's defeated too. One change is that he faces Cabba, and Cabba won't get to learn Super Saiyan because of this. He may see it during some of the other fights, but in terms of getting it himself, that's not going to happen here. But while Piccolo had an easy time with the last 3 fighters, Hit's definitely going to be kind of an issue. There's no way Piccolo would be able to face Hit, even with his new powers. Right now his best form is that God one that he has. And from what he could tell, Goku and Vegeta have a new level above that, with Super Saiyan Blue. It'll be tough for Piccolo to find something above his God form, because with Super Saiyan Blue they're just combining a previous form with Super Saiyan God, which Piccolo doesn't have the luxury of. Although this is definitely something to keep in mind for him. Hit also defeats Vegeta pretty easily, and Goku goes up next. Not much would change in this fight. And overall, this scenario doesn't really affect the tournament too much, and vice versa. This is mostly just a good showing of Piccolo's new power. He's not as strong as Goku and Vegeta, but he's definitely the 3rd strongest and he's catching up. Seeing them use Super Saiyan Blue and Blue Kaioken in the case of Goku, Piccolo feels like he's never going to catch up. They grow so much faster, and even if he's constantly on Beerus' planet, that's going to be a tough thing to catch up to. But while he's thinking, he hatches an idea. He's trying to think of the best way to train on Earth and realize that the best place is the Room of Spirit and Time. But that's not something he could just abuse. After a certain point, it's just going to make him too old. But then he gets another plan kinda inspired by King Piccolo. Maybe he can try and find eternal youth somehow. That would make it so time isn't of any concern to him. He'll have all the time in the universe that he needs. And while he could pursue the Dragon Balls for this, they've recently been used by Frieza. And even if they were here, there still is a better option. He could seek some advice from Roshi. He knows how long Roshi has been around. And although he's not young, it seems that he doesn't die of old age. Maybe he has some trick up his sleeve to do this, and surely enough he does. Roshi lets Piccolo in on his secret, leading Piccolo to the plant that he uses to do this. This is how Roshi is so old but hasn't died yet. He's not too sure if it'll preserve Piccolo's youth, but who knows, maybe it will. Piccolo knows that Namekians live long anyways, but the thing that he wants to pursue right now is eternal youth. What good is it to live for hundreds of years if he's not going to be in his prime? He takes a chance with this, eating it in hopes that he'll retain his youth. The good thing is he's already pretty young enough. By this point he's only around his late 20s, and Namekians can live way longer than an average human or Saiyan, just like a guru. So right now, a few years in the Room of Spirit and Time won't hurt at all. Whenever he's on Earth and not with Beerus, he takes a few days to go in the Room of Spirit and Time. Not too much where it's exhausting, but enough that he sees a gain. Eventually we're led into the Goku Black Arm. This time around Trunks is surprised to see how strong Piccolo and Gohan are. Not to mention he sees that Gohan actually became a scholar like he always wanted. Here the two of them are actually going to get involved, but not right away. At first it's just Goku and Vegeta. But then it becomes clear that they're going to need some help against Zamasu and Black. At one point Goku and Vegeta get back and decide to use new training to try and defeat Black and Zamasu. Goku wants to learn the Mafuba, but Piccolo says it's not necessary, he could just come along next time and do it himself. But Goku says it's probably better that more people know this technique, not just Piccolo. So he'll continue learning this, but Piccolo's definitely going to come along. This gives Piccolo a nice opportunity to train though, because Vegeta heads into the Room of Spirit and Time, and Piccolo asks to tag along. Vegeta's surprised to hear this but lets him come in with him, expecting Piccolo to keep up with his power. It's a bit odd because the two haven't really trained too much together before, and it's also been a bit of time since he's seen Piccolo's power. Interestingly enough, he hears that Piccolo's been using the Room of Spirit and Time, and he's gotten a few years worth of training since they've been on Beerus' planet. Since Piccolo's last form was inspired by Dragon Ball Heroes, let's do another one inspired by the same thing. He shows Vegeta that he has another level of power now, one that essentially may be his version of Super Saiyan Blue, an improvement of his previous god form. He shows Vegeta powering up as he gets a blue aura, with blue eyes this time. This power is definitely impressive to Vegeta. He would have never expected Piccolo to reach this level. And as he is now, he may be on par with Vegeta and Goku. He sadly doesn't have the benefit of Zenkais that they have, nor does he have that same Saiyan growth. But with his intellect, hard work, and perseverance, he was able to achieve this. So for a day on the outside, or a year on the inside, he and Vegeta train together, allowing both of them to get much stronger than before. Goku learns the Mafuba, and just for fun, he spars with Gohan to test out his strength. It's been a while since he's done this. As mentioned before, Gohan has been keeping up with his training and still has Ultimate. He doesn't train as consistently or as rigorously as Piccolo does, but it's enough for him to keep up and be at an impressive level of power. Taking him to the future should definitely be helpful. After this short time passes, they go to the future. Piccolo, Gohan, and Trunks will take on Zamasu, while Goku and Vegeta will take on Goku Black. Splitting up should be effective and helpful. And if need be, Goku knows the Mafuba now, so it'll help against Zamasu if they actually need him to help. And luckily with Piccolo here, they don't forget the seal. He makes sure they have the right things to make this work. Gohan and Trunks face Zamasu, and he wonders why they're even trying. They know he can't die. Even with these extra people here, it's not going to make a difference. But really they serve as a distraction. Piccolo uses this opportunity to set up the capsule, then performing the Mafuba as he seals Zamasu. And this time he's actually sealed for good. That's one issue out of the way, and now they can go face Goku Black. Goku Black surprised to see them join, wondering where Zamasu is. He tries to sense him, but he can't anywhere. But that's impossible, he can't die. Why can't he send Zamasu? As he's thinking, he's suddenly attacked, as the entire group gangs up on him, ready to kill Goku Black. And of course, with this many people fighting him, not only is he outnumbered and overpowered, but he's overwhelmed completely. And the future is saved as Goku Black is defeated. Trunks actually gets to keep his timeline here. Not to mention, Piccolo and Gohan actually got to help for once again. Thankfully, all ends well here. Next, we'll be moving into the Tournament of Power, but there is something I want to mention first. Of course, with Piccolo training Gohan, that means Goten and Trunks would be joining in occasionally. And this isn't something new either, it's actually been happening for a while. As soon as Piccolo got back from Beerus' planet and started training Gohan, they joined in too, seeing an opportunity to get stronger. He's trained them before and they've trained with Gohan, so it's only natural that they'd want to join here. And with them actually keeping up with their training, it allows them to unlock Super Saiyan 2, something that they should have had regardless, but I digress. The two of them want to be more independent, not wanting to rely on fusion all the time like they did in the actual story. And this is important because in the Tournament of Power, this will be helpful when trying to pick teammates. Goten and Trunks really want to join. It's been a while since they had a real fight, and they're definitely way more experienced now due to their training with Piccolo, as well as being more disciplined. Goku and Vegeta are hesitant, but they do recruit the two kids. Although they do have to break the news that the universe is at stake. This comes as a shock at first, but they're still up for the challenge. It's not the first time they face danger. I mean, they were there when the Earth literally blew up before. It's not a foreign concept to them. And with this, it would mean we take out two people from the original roster. Of course, Frieza wouldn't be there, and I feel like Ten Shinhan probably wouldn't be recruited either, since he seemed pretty hesitant, and as much as I hate to admit it, he was one of the weaker people on the team. They could just as easily kick Roshi off, but with his experience, he's still vital. And unlike Ten, he didn't have any responsibilities to take care of. So with this, they have the 10 members of the team. 8 of them are the same, and as for Ten and Frieza, they're replaced by Goten and Trunks. And while the rest of the team remains the same, of course Piccolo is way stronger here. And Gohan also has a pretty nice boost in power too. I would say with some extra time chamber training, and the fact that Vegeta and Goku had to take some time off during this 1 year, Piccolo would definitely still be on par with them, if not actually a little bit above. That's the real benefit of having God Ki and God forms. So, the group heads off to the tournament. Even with this different team, it's not going to affect too much at the beginning half of the tournament. I feel that with their sheer power, Goten and Trunks would be able to stay in the ring. Not to mention they'll have Piccolo and Gohan hovering over their shoulders just to make sure that they don't screw up. And they're actually performing pretty well. This is their first fight in a while after all. So everyone was unsure about them, but it seems that their training did pay off. Even if they aren't incredibly powerful, they're still pretty strong. They've definitely grown a lot since the Buu saga. In regards to their fighting ability, not their height, because for some reason Super didn't want to make them taller. Even though they still look 7, they're way better fighters than they were at that age. In the beginning half of the tournament, a lot of the weaker fighters are the ones that get eliminated, so I don't feel like too much of it would change. There would still be the Spirit Bomb thing with Jiren, and Ultra Instinct Omen being unlocked by Goku. Now see, this would be pretty interesting for Piccolo, because he realizes something. That whole time WHIS was trying to teach them that. He was so focused on pure power that he didn't take those teachings into account. And if Goku could do that, maybe he can too. At least with a little more practice he probably can. We see more changes going into the second half of the tournament. With Gohan's power increase and his better training, he'd likely be able to defeat Dispo alone, even if he does use his light speed mode. Piccolo would also stay in a lot longer, being able to take out a lot of the fighters from Universe 6 and Universe 3. And it was kind of BS the way he got eliminated in the actual series. I mean, one of Piccolo's greatest abilities is his great hearing. You would think he would hear someone approaching him like that. Here, that's not going to happen. Universe 4's sneaky fighters won't be a problem. Although there is one issue with the team right now. Miraculously, Goten and Trunks were able to stay in. And even though they definitely are way more experienced and stronger now, it's getting a bit tough at this point. They really want to fight individually, but they feel they're at a disadvantage. They go up to Piccolo and Gohan with the plan. Although they did want to work independently, they feel like their only option now is to fuse. They can support the team against the remaining fighters. Although it's risky, there's not too much time left in the tournament, so a fusion may help. Especially since Goten and Trunks won't do too much if they don't fuse. So the two break out Gotenks once more, remaining in Super Saiyan 2 for a bit so they don't run out of the fusion too quickly. Just as they fuse, Piccolo then hears them yell out towards him, saying heads up as a volleyball flies his way. This brings back memories. Inside the volleyball are remaining fighters from Universe 2, and Piccolo flings it up in the air as Gotenks then spikes it down into the void, meaning he just finished off that universe. But there still is a big issue, and that's Jiren. Goku, Vegeta, 17, Piccolo, Gohan, and Gotenks are the only ones left in the ring. It's pretty much Universe 7 versus Jiren at this point. They all try to fight together, but it's no use. But Piccolo looks around, trying to strategize. Maybe they don't need raw power to knock him out. There might be a better way. He tells his plan to Gotenks, Gohan, and 17. They're not too sure about it, but hopefully it'll work. Piccolo purposefully doesn't fill Vegeta and Goku in on it, because otherwise Jiren will know that they're scheming something. They're busy fighting him right now as Piccolo joins in too. On the sidelines, the other 3 fighters carry out Piccolo's plans. Gotenks creates a bunch of ghosts, who all attack the ring and explode as Gohan and 17 try to break the ring too. It's tough, but they're able to do it, splitting the entire ring into 2 pieces. That's just what Piccolo wanted. He wanted to separate the ring. He doesn't know if he could actually pull it off, but it's worth a shot. What he plans is capsizing one on the side of the ring so he flings everyone off it, which would mean he's taking himself, Goku, and Vegeta out as well as Jiren. But he doesn't really see any other choice. Although here's where Gotenks comes in to help. With his ghost, he may be able to pick some people up before they fall out. Piccolo breaks out something that he hasn't used in a while. As Jiren faces Goku and Vegeta, a giant shadow appears over them. They look and see Piccolo is growing rapidly in size. But not only that, he splits into 2. He's using his giant form and he's continuing to grow more and more. Jiren wonders what the purpose of this is. Seeing that Piccolo didn't get any stronger from it, one of the giant Piccolos then goes to the other side of the ring, jumping high up in the air, as the other giant Piccolo keeps Jiren occupied, trying to grab him as Jiren jumps up and attacks. The Piccolo that jumped in the air lands, and this was enough force to tip the part of the ring that they were on, launching the other giant Piccolo off as he belly flops onto Jiren. This isn't a problem until Jiren realizes that he doesn't have any footing below him. Also, Goku and Vegeta panic as they try and grab onto the ring to stay in, but luckily some Gotenks ghosts help and pick them up. The giant Piccolo belly flops into the void with Jiren below him. And even with his power, Jiren has no real way to escape this. It was a good strategy because it works. Universe 7 wins. And thankfully most of the fighters were able to stay in the ring. Picking an MVP might be hard, but funny enough Zeno might select Gotenks. He has all the accomplishments of the 2 separate fighters. Not to mention he helped Goku and Vegeta stay in the ring, as well as assisting Piccolo with his plan. It's kind of a big responsibility to bear, but they know what to wish for. And this really shows their maturity now because they wish to revive all the universes, which is exactly what Piccolo would have wanted to do too. As usual, Gotenks shows how awesome he is. He literally saved the multiverse. Our story may not end here though, of course we do have the Moro arc next, and whatever's beyond that. Plus, Piccolo has some new goals for himself. He wants to aim for Ultra Instinct, but also he may have other aspirations. Although, this part's getting kinda long. We could save that for the next part. So, let's leave off here for now. What did you guys think about this concept in this scenario? Do you think anything would have gone differently, and what do you think may happen next? Leave all your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we can get another part of this series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon to get notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.